My parents weren't sure at first what was going on with me when I was a baby. At first they didn't know anything was different at all, and then they started to notice that I wasn't looking at them or moving toward things that were in my immediate area but not close enough for me to touch, so I wouldn't, see toys and go toward them or anything like that. And so eventually they took me to various hospitals and had some tests done and figured out that I was totally blind. I actually don't remember feeling very different from the other kids when I was growing up. I grew up in a sort of small town where everybody kind of knew each other, and so I went through elementary school with all the same children who just had known me since kindergarten and just knew that I did some things differently, and they knew how to do sighted guide and that I read Braille and used a cane. The culture shock didn't really come until college, when I met a lot of people who had never met a blind person and were just so baffled and didn't know how I was going to do things or how I was going to manage.
I can't touch the stars, but when we walk together, I can reach higher than Mars. Pictures drawn with words, but measured with our fingertips, so many.
When I was growing up, I never had a disabled teacher, and so it was always kind of in the back of my mind that I always wished that I had. And my mom had been a classroom paraprofessional and had worked with only a couple of students over a large span of years, and I was like, this is something that I would really enjoy, connecting with disabled students and working on academics and social things with them, but also just being that older disabled person in their life who can tell them this is possible and I've been where you are and I get it. I always loved to write. I was a little kid writing stories every second that I could. And I wanted to be an author ever since I was very young. I remember my third grade teacher telling me one day when he was reading one of my stories, Caitlin, you're going to be an author someday. And I never forgot that, because it was definitely always something that I wanted to do. And I love to read. I think that's also why I like to write. And it helped me sort of understand the world, especially the visual aspects of the world that I couldn't see. And I wanted to become a writer so I could introduce people to my world and to the worlds that I was imagining. I think it's actually easier for me to write because I'm a blind person, so I always have my Braille note with me, my Braille tablet, and I'm also always riding on public transportation or paratransit, so I have lots of downtime when I'm either lesson planning or I'm writing. And it's really nice because I have really good focus. I can just tune out the whole world and work on my writing. So you gotta get them all saturated, it's so good. Well, sometimes I just eat ice cream with Oreos because that always seems to give me answers. I would love for disabled kids and adults to read my writing and to just feel seen or heard or understood in some way. I would also love for non-disabled people to read it and to feel less concerned or nervous or tentative when they're approaching someone with a disability, or when someone with a disability is sitting across from them at a job interview. I think a lot of my hope centers around demystifying disability and also other intersections. I hope that my writing will be fun and entertaining, but also will teach people and make them feel a little bit less inhibited, I guess, around people who are not the same as they are.